Hey guys, so basically, uh, when we talk about the sun, we have to know what even is light, and light is none other than electrification or electricity. So, a lightning bolt is electricity, which is light. It's physical, which is tangible. It's visible, audible, tangible, and magnetism carries electricity. So, when we talk about the sun, it produces the rainbow. We can see that it's composed of infrared all the way to ultraviolet. So that's the electromagnetic spectrum of visible light, but there's a whole electromagnetic spectrum of light that we can't see. Visible light is just a little part. There's still X-ray, there's gamma, for instance. We can't see X-ray, X radiation, it's all radiation because magnetism is radiation. So what an atom is, it has an electron, which means you can see atoms, like an electron microscope, because you have to look for the electron. That the electron is moving, and that if you move something so much, it would make it seem like it's physical. So if the electron stopped moving, for example, this would vanish to it would collapse to its plane, just like the galactic plane of the Milky Way. So what I'm saying here is, yes, that which is above correlates to that which is below. Now, what you can do is you can just believe that atoms are the way they're proposed with our current models, that there's a proton, neutron, and electron. But if you knock a neutron out of the center, why does it become a proton? Because there is no neutron, proton, electron. It's all one, and we just call it names, like we say the top of the paper and the bottom of this paper. It's just paper. Now, the idea is that the earth and heart, your heart produces your electromagnetic field. That's why the earth is the plane of inertia. The plane of earth, the planet earth, is the plane of inertia. And no, we didn't just make this up. This is true because a hearth is the name of a furnace or a fireplace where you put your logs to burn, because a fireplace is burning. So this is your core corazon, and it produces the electromagnetic spectrum, infrared at the bottom, ultraviolet at the top, and this is the neutral point. This is the neutron, that's the proton, that's the electron. So what I'm saying here is, you can just believe the science books and the pictures that they give you are NASA's pictures, CGI, computer-generated images, just a bunch of images that are made up by people. Or you can actually look for yourself at home. Ken Wheeler, thank you so much, Theoria Apophysis. He made a magnetic field viewing device. It's basically two optically flat pieces of glass, put liquid holding iron between that, so it's ferrofluid, it's iron filings suspended in fluid. You compress it between two optically flat pieces of glass, and what you will find is you will be able to see the magnetic field composed. You basically have a little Milky Way galaxy in your hand. You can hold it, you can look at it. So it's white lines and black lines, counter-rotating fields of magnetism, just like this. You have right radiation going out, and gravitation, or what we call gravitation, is actually it's called mutual mass acceleration towards a point, which is basically what we're saying is that there's not really a north and south pole. There's not one north, one south, because if you break down a magnet into a million pieces, you have a million north poles, a million south poles. So all you have is pressure mediation. You have counter-rotating fields acting against each other. Now, here's the important part. Electricity is measured by electrical resistance. That basically, you have dielectricity and magnetism. One is rest, one is motion. So you have left turning, right turning, one going out, one going in. That's what causes a magnet to repel and attract. So when these two fields come together, they produce electricity, which is light. Light is produced at the center, that's El Sol. So you have Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, then Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. The Sun is El Sol, it's right here. And that's light, sonoluminescence. Sound creates light. Energy is sound. So what is light? It's just an ether perturbation. Light is not a particle that travels through a medium, because if you have light and you travel it, and if light goes through a glass cup with water, it slows down, and then the light particle that you think is a particle, we're calling it a light particle, photon, how does it go through the cup of glass, slow down, and then speed back up again? It's breaking the law of conservation of energy. What it's actually doing is light doesn't break the law of waves. It acts like a wave. The light goes around the cup, just like your hand would separate the water in the river, and it goes back around your hand. So what is light doing going around the cup? That's why it speeds up again, because it never slowed down, because light is not a particle. It acts like a wave because it is a wave. There's ether all around us. Now check this out. Basically, Jesus points to his core corazon because he is the light of the world. Where's light? It's at the center. But my point was, you can look at the magnetic field and know that there is a plane of inertia that separates the north and south pole. And in Egypt, you have, so I'm gonna get closer now. In Egypt, what we have here is the Nile River, and you have the two crowns in Egypt. You have Upper and Lower Egypt. So you have Lower Egypt, which was red crown, and Upper Egypt was the white crown. Now they went inside of each other, and it becomes one because you go from your lower mind, which is the bottom of the Nile River, which is literally your spine. The Nile River represents your spine because it's basically from the root chakra of your spine to the crown chakra. That's where the snake becomes a bird, and on every pharaoh's crown was a vulture and a cobra, because it's dealing with this here. It's the Milky Way galaxy. It's the concept of your atoms. And who was the discoverer of the concept of an electron was J.J. Thomson. He discovered the concept of an electron, said it wasn't an electron, it was dielectric discharge, which is the release of dielectricity. We have to know what dielectricity is if you want to talk about what light is, because light is electricity, which is the electromagnetic spectrum. Magnetism carries electricity, and dielectricity produces magnetism, which produces electricity. So if you don't know about magnetism, how are you going to understand electricity? If you don't know about dielectricity, how are you going to understand about magnetism? That's what it all goes down to. The Egyptians said all is atum, and what are your atoms? They are nothing but counter-rotating fields of magnetism. It's the creator of space and the eraser of space. The creator of space is the donut, and it's the M for McDonald's and the W for woman, man and woman. This is polarity, north and south pole separated by a plane of inertia. So there is the cobra and the vulture that come together at the top, because basically the cobra at the bottom becomes a vulture at the top. And there's the Jordan River, where they say Jesus was in Nazareth and he went down the Jordan River. That's like going down the Nile and back up. This is the dynamics of electricity. Electricity is measured in cycles per second. What is light? It's electricity. What is electricity? It's literally measured in cycles per second. So light is no different than the ether in dynamic circular polarization. What is the ether? It's magnetism and dielectricity. You have ether that wants to rest, and you have ether that wants to move. Magnetism is ether in motion, dielectricity, ether at rest. Electricity is resistance, it's rest against motion. So electricity is measured in cycles per second, so it literally goes from the North Pole, it goes from neutral to positive, neutral, negative, neutral, positive, neutral, negative. Electricity travels like this in a circle. It goes neutral, positive, neutral, negative. Okay, that's what it's doing. So this is really crucial right here. What I'm going to show you now is, it's right here. Actually, do I have it, guys? Yep, right here. This is the important one. Look at this. Right here, you will see right here how when the sun rises at 6 a.m., this is on the equinox, which means equal night, when the daytime is equal to the nighttime, when there's 6 hours of day, 6 hours at night, which means the sun has to rise at 6 a.m. and sets at 6 p.m. That means the sun is directly above your head at 12 p.m. and it's supposed to be across the other side of the world at 12 a.m. at midnight. So now, when the sun, it rises, it's red. Because it's rising, it's not as hot as it would be in the 12 p.m. where it's ultraviolet light. When the sun sets again, it turns red. That's why Satan is red, okay? Because it sets and it turns red. Now this is Aries, which spells arise. This is the crab, goes side to side. This is Libra, where it calibrates, comes back down, because I said it goes neutral, positive, neutral, negative. This is negative, Kabbalah, and the goat literally travels up to the top of the mountain, and that's the mountain goat. Now the idea is, you're doing this now. This is what we're doing. We're basically producing, on a large scale, the sun is electricity, and it's doing that electromagnetic spectrum. And look what the sun does on a huge scale. It goes from spring, summer, fall, winter. Yes, that circle is all what the electron has to. It comes out of the center to the top and here back down. So it's neutral, positive, neutral, negative, and that's how you measure it. And now when you do a bunch of these like that, you end up getting this torus field, this tree. This is all there is, guys. So anyways, I wanted to show you guys that we have never actually went from North Pole back to the South Pole back to the North Pole. Look, these are the flights. This is 1965, 1968, 1977. So sure, you can believe that these happened on a globe where they went from the north to the North Pole, then to the South Pole, but they didn't actually go to the North Pole. This actually makes more sense on a flat Earth than it does on a globe. This is perfectly possible on a flat Earth. If they would have said they went somewhere to Australia from the North Pole and then ended up magically back at the North Pole, then we would say, yes, that was an impossible flight on a flat Earth, but it's possible on a globe. Well, actually, what they did was possible on both of them, and it actually just proves even more that the globe is, you can't prove it. Like, all they prove more and more is that the flat Earth is more accurate, makes more sense. These are true flights. Nobody's ever disprove the flat earth. Just want you guys to know that. So yes, we've replicated a black hole on Earth using a supercell created by Ken Wheeler on his YouTube. You can look at a magnetic field by yourself and determine what atoms are and what magnetism is, because if you break a magnet down to its atoms, if you have a magnet and break it down to a million pieces, each piece is a magnet. So therefore every atom is a magnet. Every atom has a north and south pole. This is exactly what it looks like. The entire universe is like this. So if you look at Washington, D.C., how come Washington, D.C. is like a big brain? Why is there a Kabbalistic tree of life? See, we're dealing with a issue of people are thinking too deep. They're not thinking clear. If we think clearly, then we can understand. Then we know where to look, and then we know what we're looking at. So where do we look? Let's look at Washington, D.C. And what are we looking at? We're looking at the Kabbalistic tree of life. Kabbalistic tree of life. There's an upside down pentagram. So people say there's an upside down star. That's not it. There's an upside down star, but it's in the middle of the Kabbalistic tree of life. What is the Kabbalistic tree of life? It's this. This is Malkuth, the root, and that's Kether, which is the ether. That's all it is, guys. It's this is the square where there's Alexandria County and Washington County, and that square is the base of the pyramid, and there's a big old pyramid. So the Washington, D.C. is a big square. In Virginia and Maryland, which is Virgin Mary, 33-degree Masons, 33 vertebrae. It's all about your Kabbalistic tree. It's called the Kabbalistic climb. It's called Kundalini rising. It's called mysticism, pyrofication. It's called shamanistic trance. It's all about the serpent energy going up. It's not about climate change. It's about climbing the. It's about climate. It's about climb the 8 and change. Climb the 8 and change. There's a good video I'll probably put in the description of this video of where I learned that from, but it's not about climate change. It's about climbing the 8. Climb the 8 and change. And it's about within, not without. So if you read the Bible literally, you're not going to find God, because God is not lost. If you take the Bible as literature, you'll find that God was always within you, and it is everything. So looking for God is already wrong, because it's not lost. God isn't lost. It's a clarity issue. Nikola Tesla said, thinking deeply can make you quite insane, but thinking clearly makes you quite sane. So thank you, everyone.